All right. That was a reprisal. What's happening? Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on tonight. Yes, I have my Forbidden Knowledge hat on. Yes, I have my Forbidden Knowledge shades on as well. From time to time, I do wear my. I used to wear them all the time. Some of you guys may know that I have something called synesthesia. I do have an eye condition. It's really not an eye condition. It's a cortex condition. So my audio and cerebral cortex were formed in a way where my visual cortex is I guess interlinked or combined. So every time I hear sounds, I see colors and numbers. And so shades, the reason why people, how come he's always got on shades? Well, it's actually a medical condition. I even have a handicap sticker for it. The shades actually help me to dull out some of the input. On a day like today, when I've been utterly exposed to so much activity and so much going on, it's actually more of a relaxing thing to actually be able to have the shades on your eyes, to relax your eyes and to dull out some of the input that you guys will never be able to detect and see because you don't have synesthesia. It's something that you're born with. 1 in 100,000 people are born with it, and I am one of them. A lot of people have it that you probably wouldn't even know. Billy Joel, Mary J. Blige, Pharrell, Kanye West. Quite a few people have synesthesia. That some bigger names that you might know actually have synesthesia. You'll notice that they wear, you'll notice that they wear shades a lot. I've been talking so much today, my voice is going, guys. So you're gonna have to bear with me tonight. I do have my water. But it's going to be a great night and a great talk tonight. All right. I appreciate you guys. Please, everybody, hit the like button. Please share this video. I'm going to go in today talking about the Anunnaki. Are they the ordainers or were they the ordainers of destinies? I'm going to talk about what that is. I'm going to read a little bit of a couple of different tablets to you as well, some verses from some of the tablets. And all this has to do with manifesting. It has to do with understanding how to create your own reality. That's literally what it's all about. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that and touch on that. And again, please forgive me for my voice. I literally probably made, I don't know, 6 hours of videos over the last couple of days. And my voice is really starting to take a little bit of a dive. All right. So let's get into it. I think we got the chat filling up here. We got over 1,000 people in the chat right now. All right. So please, again, please share this video wherever you may see it. I think I'm broadcasting on 5 different platforms right now at once, or maybe 6. But definitely please share it. All right. So tonight we're going to even talk a little bit about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. I'm going to be reading out of my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, my best-selling book. And we're going to be talking, it's all centered around manifesting. Okay. All of this is centered around manifesting. And so we have to understand that manifesting is something that is ancient. It's not new age. You hear people say, oh, this is that new age stuff. You guys are into this new thing, manifesting. You know, you saw that movie. No. Manifesting is ancient. It's super ancient. All right. So what's happening now in today's modern era is some of those ancient teachings and understandings have been brought forward in time. Luckily, they survived the test of time through verbal handed down histories, through remnants of ancient texts. And now today, what do we have? We have a situation where we can actually go back, study these techniques and apply them in our life. But not only can we do that, we can also understand the science behind manifestation, which is the biggest key. We can understand the science behind it now because we have now caught up to the level that we were back then in terms of understanding the fundamentals of quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Those two things right there actually explain spirituality. I'm going to be talking about so much of this in my Manifest Destiny workshop. You have to come. It's a 10-hour class. It was originally going to only be 8 hours, but I knew I'd do an hour overtime, but we just added another speaker, another amazing speaker. I'm just waiting for the contract to be signed, and this person is world famous. This person has consulted with many very what you would consider to be famous people in the public spotlight, and has been their mentor and guide through many business dealings. And then you'll know who he is. I mean, the guy's worldwide. And so I'm just waiting for the contract to sign before I announce his name. But we've added him also to the Manifest Destiny workshop. So we're adding another hour extra on top because he's going to need at least 2.5 hours by himself. And then we have the trauma release class. And then we have Elizabeth going in on mental health and how to clean out your vessel to be able to manifest. And then the rest of those hours are all me. So it's going to be a powerful, powerful workshop. And, you know, kind of feeding off of what I'm going to be talking about today. But I'm going to drop a link in the chat right quick for the Manifest Destiny. This is the 4th annual Manifest Destiny workshop that we've done. And every year it gets bigger and it gets better. And this year is going to be mind-blowing. If you want to learn how to manifest your best life, manifest things into reality, create the life that you truly desire, bring heaven to earth, then you need to come to this class, this mega 10-hour class. And it's actually going to be recorded. So if you can't watch the whole thing, I'm just typing at the same time, you will be able to, guess what? Replay it unlimited amounts of times over and over and over again. Pause it, stop it, play it for family members, play it for friends, play it for your children because it's rated G. All right, it's rated G because we're talking about God power. So it's going to be amazing. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now in the comments here. I just dropped it in the chat. The link is in the chat. If you can't see the chat, just go to eventbrite.com or the caption of this video. It should have the actual link in it as well once this video is done. All right. So talking about manifesting. When you look into the ancient cuneiform Sumerian tablets, you start seeing something very interesting. You start seeing that these beings that the Sumerians called the Anunnaki, and yes, that's a real name. You can find that name in the Enuma Elish and the 7 tablets of creation, a roughly almost 8,000-year-old text that was deciphered in the 1800s, long, long time ago. This is well-known, well-vetted, peer-reviewed information that has made it into even anthropology classes in universities. So again, this is not off the dome makeup stuff. Like, you know, I always come with the receipts. Anybody can find this out. I give you the information that most people just don't know the questions to ask and they don't know where to look. But guess what, guys? I know where to look and I know what questions to ask. You find these Anunnaki beings and you find that these Anunnaki beings, which really were the Atlanteans, they're mentioned in text all over the world. They're the Anunnaki in the Bible. You know, we were grasshoppers in their eyesight. These were big men. They were called men of renown. You know, these people were known around the entire planet. They were the pantheon to the Greeks, but the original Sumerian pantheon prior to the Great Flood originated out of Mesopotamia. After the flood, they reset themselves in the land of Kim. And then they became the Netiru, all right? The gods that came from heaven to earth and turned mud into a kingdom. These people went to Cambodia and built Angkor Wat. They went and built Teotihuacan in Mesoamerica. They developed civilizations all over the entire planet, these people. Now, what was interesting is, and what was actually great, is that they had a lot of text left behind about them. And there were scribes that would write, scribes of these gods. They called them gods, but they weren't gods with the capital G. They were gods with the lowercase g. Some of them, unfortunately, masqueraded as gods because, I mean, hey, they come to a planet, there's people here. The people see that they have technology and advanced knowledge, and right away, what do? They bow. Oh, this must be God. It's called a cargo cult. We know that because we've seen cargo cults before on this planet. When the U.S. military went to the Bikini Atoll and those islands out there in the South Pacific to do nuclear missile testing, what did they do? They arrived at the shore of some islands where there were natives that had never seen yet, not even a white man, yet alone any other man other than themselves. And all of a sudden, they've got airplanes, they've got tanks, they've got these boats that run with power. They come on shore with all these canisters and luggage and everything else, and these gigantic steel suitcases with supplies on the inside. And they started giving some of this stuff to these natives, clothing and shoes, trying to make them feel good because they was about to blow their whole island up, basically, trying to make them feel good. We're going to have to redirect you guys because we're going to tear this whole place up with this nuclear test. And, you know, we're going to give you some trinkets and give you a little bit of food, give you some candy bars, and then we're going to kick you off your home. That's basically what happened. But long story short, when they saw these soldiers, they began to worship them instantaneously. After the soldiers left and all the testing was done, still to this very day, in some of those islands, there are cargo cults dedicated to the gods that came from the sky with the cans of Spam and chocolate bars. They even tattooed USA on their chest. I did a whole lecture on this, a 3-hour lecture. It's available on Forbidden Knowledge TV with the pictures of these natives. They tattooed USA on their chest. They took reeds and sticks from the bushes and made them into what would look like, semi-automatic guns and rifles. They even took trees and reeds and branches and built themselves what looked like airplanes with the landing gear and everything. And they would pray to the landing gear and look to the sky for hours on end, waiting for the sky gods to return with more cans of Spam and chocolate bars and stuff and some food and some clothes. It's cargo cult. Now, let's take a trip back in time. These same people, these Anunnaki people arrive same way. They come with to create a breakaway civilization according to the ancient tablets, not according to Billy Carson. According to the ancient tablets, they came here to create a breakaway civilization. And in doing so, they interacted with an existing hominid who was our cousin, human beings' cousins, not Homo sapien yet, but Homo sapien, Homo something, definitely Erectus, and engaged them. And at that time, of course, we thought they were gods. Why? Because they had advanced technology. They had things that look magical to us. When a more advanced civilization runs into a less advanced civilization, the less advanced civilization deifies the more advanced civilization. That's just the way it goes. And so we deified them, and we became their slaves without knowing we were their slaves. And so that's what happened. But what's interesting, when you read these tablets, they had these scribes that would write down all the information that these gods wanted to leave behind in stone, because stone was very hard to decay. Parchment paper and papyrus, things like that, over time, they decay very easily. But stone, the worst that can happen is it starts to crack and break, or you drop one and it breaks. But for the most part, long term, the majority of these tablets, which we now have millions of them that have been discovered, millions, not a couple hundred, not a few thousand tablets, millions of tablets have been discovered. And they left behind a great record of what may have happened in the ancient past. So one of the things that they talk about, these ancient sky gods from the ancient past, is they talk about having the capability of being ordainers of destiny. Okay, that's what they call themselves, the ordainers of destiny. And what does that mean? When you start to analyze these tablets in this text, you begin to realize that these beings were talking about creating realities on this planet. They were talking about creating realities, creating paradigms, and also creating future outcomes based on what they themselves wanted to see roll out or unfold on this planet. And that's pretty interesting, because that's manifesting. Now, they were talking about doing these things as if they were already going to be done. That's pretty powerful. In other words, their plans in their mind were so powerful, and their vision was so powerful, that they can actually see the multiple opportunities or situations that would occur, and then they collapse the one that they specifically wanted into reality, and they would decree it, and then they would ordain it as being so. That's powerful. Now, I won't disagree with you that a lot of these beings were pretty malevolent. In other words, they were pretty evil people, most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. Why were they evil? Well, because they masqueraded as gods. They abused our freedoms. They enslaved us without making us think we were slaves. And they, to me, in my personal opinion, it was just a lot of mental and physical abuse, especially when you read the tablets about what Enlil did to human beings, killing off 100,000 here, 100,000 there, dry the crops out. Too many people making too much noise. They're clamoring too much. Just kill them off. We were treated as cattle. And so I agree that a lot of these beings were not the nicest of people. Some of them had a kind heart and showed empathy, like Enki and Thoth, the Atlantean priest king in Africa. You know him as Tahuti, right? In Mesoamerica, he's known as Lord Pakal, Kukulkan, Viracocha, and these other names. He's known as Nigazita in Sumeria. And there's several others as well that really did have a heart for human beings, and felt guilty as to some of the things that they colluded with against people. But the ones that were pretty hardcore and evil, like Marduk, aka Amun-Ra, and a few others, they really understood the power of manifestation and the reality that they wanted to create on this planet, and they would make decrees into those realities. They even had something called a crystal tablet that they would look into. Sounds a lot like a phone or a iPad or whatever you call it, right? But they had a crystal tablet. On this crystal tablet, they would see the future outcomes. This is in Sumerian tablets. They would see the future outcomes on this crystal tablet. And then, based on the future outcomes that were there, depending on who was ruling or who was trying to manifest this particular reality that they wanted, they would actually then pick one of these realities. Now, let me break this down for you. In quantum mechanics and quantum physics, everything exists. All realities exist in superposition of each other. Superposition. Look that up when you get some time. This is quantum physics and quantum mechanics. What does that mean? That means that any future reality that could possibly exist does exist. In other words, in some future realities, right now, in this exact moment, I'm not sitting at this desk talking to you. I'm outside eating dinner at the kitchen or in the dining room, or I'm taking a walk in the neighborhood, or I'm in the gym working out, or I'm playing basketball, or I'm on a trip to another country. I could be on a spaceship to another planet. There's unlimited potential future outcomes. So they had the concept of the quantum field. And then now, what do? They knew how to use conscious thought backed by action to collapse the quantum field into one particular reality, the one that they wanted to see. Pretty interesting. Let me read this one tablet, some of this tablet to you. This is pretty interesting stuff. Give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Pretty interesting stuff. Okay. Here's a tablet from ancient Mesopotamia. Tablet 1. They planned a city. They planned it. The gods, we're talking about the Anunnaki when you hear the word gods. By the way, let me stop right there. In the Bible, everywhere you see the word God, singular, G-O-D, is a mistranslation. When you go to the ancient text, and that was translated from to become the words in the Bible as the word God, the word singular God, it actually in the past, it was actually gods with an S, plural. They took off the S to give you the concept or the idea of monotheism. Okay, but that's a whole nother podcast. The gods laid its foundations. They planned the city, Kish. Kish is where the black people were. The Igigi founded its brickwork. The Igigi were the working class Anunnaki. You had the Anunnaki pantheon that were here. And then underneath them, they had these working class people who had volunteered to help do the work in this breakaway civilization. And the purpose and the reason for that was to have a fresh start, a new opportunity on a new planet, a new life, so to speak, that they would build for themselves. Just like if we were here, leave here and go to Mars and be part of a new civilization, we have to go there. They're only going to handpick people that can contribute something to the civilization or the society. These Igigi were the working class people, according to these tablets. Let it be there, the people, let it be there that the people shepherd. Let Etana be their architect. The great Anunnaki gods, ordainers of destinies, sat talking their counsel concerning the land. The creators of the four world religions, establishers of all physical form. By command of all of them, the Igigi gods ordained a festival for the people. No king did they establish over the teeming peoples. At that time, no headdress had been assembled, nor crown. So they're talking about this is a time even before they had established kings on earth to rule over people. No throne daisies whatsoever had been constructed. Against the inhabitant world, they barred the gates. The Ijiji god surrounded the city with ramparts. Ishtar came down from heaven to seek a shepherd. Ishtar came down from heaven. She came down from space. Ishtar is what Easter is all about. She is the goddess of Easter. It's really all about Ishtar. Translated her name now from back then to the future, from Ishtar to Easter, but it's really Ishtar. It's a Sumerian, a Babylonian tradition. Came down from heaven to speak with a shepherd and sought for a king everywhere. And Mina came down from heaven to seek a shepherd and sought for a king everywhere. And Lil examined the days of Etana, the man whom Ishtar steadfastly, and some piece of that tablet is missing. Then she consistently sought the king and the radiant throne. And then it goes on to talk about that Enlil showed his sister a crystal tablet. And on this crystal tablet, a city that he had built, that he will build. And this city and this construction technique will last for all time on this planet. This guy is talking about planning not for, understand the mindset, planning not for next week, planning not for next month, planning not for next year or the next 10 years. He's planning for all time. And so what I was trying to tell you before, some of these guys weren't the greatest people, and Lil definitely was not one of the greatest people, obviously, within this pantheon. However, you can learn something from what they're talking about here. What can you take from this? What can you glean from this? They walked in their own true power. They understood the power that was inside of them. It doesn't make them right with what they did on this planet, but what it does do, it can teach us a lesson on how to create our own reality, how to walk in our power. Because according to another tablet called the Myth of Adapa, human beings, according to them, according to these sky gods, were created even more intelligent and higher than them, but we had just not tapped into it yet. At a time in the future, we would realize our true power. That time is right now. To walk in your true power as who you really and truly are. That part made it into the Bible as the angels were jealous of the humans because the humans were created higher than them. That's where it came from, the Myth of Adapa. Read that ancient tablet. Almost word for word, they copied it right into the biblical text. The point I'm making here is this guy and his people are ordaining realities. In other words, they understand the power. They're commanding specific things to be have an outcome on this planet that they want to see. And then the plan that this guy makes, he plans for all time. Let me tell you something. When I read that, I had to sit back in my chair for a minute. I had to meditate on that. The average person will read across that and glance and skim across that and keep on going. I had to stop because you see, I understood the power. I understood the power in what was just told to me. The power is this. When you are living out here in this financial matrix, for example, this is just one example, you get a paycheck, whether you're getting paid on a contract, whether you're getting paid on a paycheck from an employer, or whether you provide services and you get paid randomly, or whatever, you're getting money on a specific schedule, time scale. Most people are planning for what they're going to do with that check when it comes in. Oh, I got to pay this. I got to pay this. I got to pay this. I'm going to take this little bit and save it here. And this is going there. And then I'm going to spend, I got to buy some clothes and I got to do this. We are living paycheck to paycheck on this planet. The majority of people on this planet are living paycheck to paycheck. Some have benefited to be able to live maybe paycheck to every 3 or 4 paychecks. Very few can go 6 months and very, very, very few can go a year without earning any income, right? One time I went almost 7 years without making any money. But that's rare. The point I'm making is I was working on a plan for the end of that 7 year when I took that 7 years off. I was making my plans for what I was gonna do to jump back into into the world of the financial matrix to make money again. This guy planned for all time. You see what I'm saying? So what it's telling you is we have to think bigger. This is why this workshop is going to be so important. I'm going to drop the link in the chat again right now, because I'm going to teach you how to plan for all time. That literally shifted my thought process. It was a paradigm shift for me. You may not can see it here right now on this board, but where I'm pointing to it says legacy. And it's almost in every video that I have. I have this legacy image behind me. I look at the legacy image every single day with the infinity symbol on it, because I understand that what I learned from this dude, who I do mean a dude, wasn't no God, didn't create anything, just a masquerader, but he understood his own power. He said he's created these plans for all time. And they still have persisted till this day. That was 8,000 years ago when he said that. Guess what? His diagram, his floor plan for construction for cities is still persisting till this very current day. His plan that he put in place 8,000 years ago, he installed a bicameral Congress in Mesopotamia, which went around the entire world, and it's the same exact political system we operate under today in the United States. His plumbing system that he created is the same plumbing system that we're living under and operating for right now. All these things that this guy did, the education system he created, the fiat currency he created fiat currency and inflation 8,000 years ago. So what's happening here? We're seeing somebody who understood exactly what they wanted to do, and he planned for all time, and his plan is still in operation until this very moment. We're talking about eons have gone by, and it's still here. I took that information. I took what he did. How can I utilize that in that concept of thinking, the way of thinking for planning in my life? So I started researching long-term plans. I found a few corporations that were thinking like Enlil, Mitsubishi. They have a 300-year business plan. They have a 300-year business plan. 300. They're not planning for, 5-year plan. Most people make a business plan 5 years. I got a 5-year business plan. That's what I usually make a 5-year business plan, right? They make a 5-year business plan. No. This guy has, Mitsubishi has a 300-year, and a few other corporations I found had 500-year plans. So their corporation, what they're saying is our corporations are going to stand the test of time, number one. They've already ordained that their corporation will not go down regardless of economical conditions, regardless of political situations, regardless of religious situations on the planet, regardless of wars. There's nothing that's going to take down our company, regardless of who's coming in out of the company and coming in the company and coming out of the company, leaving the company. No matter what, this company will sustain and persist. And here's our 500-year business plan. Thinking into the future, creating future realities with conscious thought, getting more futuristic every year that goes by, but still being in this exact year and time. You can take a lot from this type of thinking. Imagine sitting back and creating a plan for all time. And people say, well, why do I need a plan for all time? I'm only going to live to 80 or whatever. Well, the plan isn't for you. You see, legacy. I'm not planning for me. I'm planning for future generations. One of the biggest downfalls and pitfalls in the minority communities is zero planning. And I mean absolutely zero planning. None. Not even for death. Not even for death. Both of my parents are dead. Both of my parents are long gone. I love them to death, but I got nothing. Zero. I had nothing before they died, and I had even less after they died because they had debts. This is a major situation in minority and impoverished communities. There's no planning whatsoever. At what point do we begin to say, enough is enough? I'm going to draw a line in the sand. This generational curse stops with me. See, the problem that we have is too many people are thinking only about themselves. Oh, well, this is all I need to live on, because if I can just make this, I can get by until I die and I'll be happy. Meanwhile, you set nothing up for your future generations. You don't have a will, a trust, a testament. Nobody knows anything what's going on, who's going to get what or anything. Nobody has your key, an attorney that should have a key or access to a safe that has your passwords to your crypto or your accounts or anything like that. There's no trust to have the money sent to, so that the family has one central location and the money is divvied up and sent out from there. This is all the stuff I'm going to talk about in my Manifest Destiny workshop. We have to begin to make plans for all time. If you want to truly manifest your own reality, but how about manifesting a plan for all time? This is something that needs to be done. Understanding and becoming what they were, ordainers of destiny. Wouldn't you like to know that you already can control and be a part of a joint part in your own destiny? And I mean that. This is one of the main hermetic principles. You understand the law of cause and effect. We all are co-creators in our reality. They'll tell you that you have no power over your reality. They will tell you that you have no control over your reality. They will tell you that just give up and set in. It's just destiny. Your destiny's already been laid out before you were born. Let me tell you something. That's bull crap. Because I can show you right now in a very simple example, my destiny is not laid out in advance. Because I have a choice. I'm going to give you this simple, kooky and corny example, but I'm going to give it to you right now. On my desk, on my left hand, there's a cell phone. By my right hand, there's a glass of water. At any given time, I could decide to pick up the cup, the glass of water, or I could pick up the cell phone. Destiny means I don't have a choice. But guess what? I'm sitting here and I actually have a choice. I could pick up the cell phone. I just fulfilled my own prophecy. I thought about what I was going to pick up, and now I picked it up. I fulfilled my own prophecy, self-fulfilled prophecy. Oh, maybe I changed my mind. I'm going to pick up the water now. Now I got the water in my hand. Guess what? I don't have to pick up either one. I can get up and walk out of this room and leave you guys hanging on the video. And what happened to Forbidden? He left. But here's the situation with that. Every decision you make will have a consequence, whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence. The good consequence will be, if I stay here, I can spread knowledge and wisdom, and somebody, if there's only 2 or 3 people, can get something out of what I'm saying tonight. That's the consequence of me sitting here tonight speaking to you. If I get up and leave this room and leave you guys hanging, the consequence is going to be like, you guys, man, this guy just walked out on us and left us hanging on this guy. I'm going to unfollow this guy. Who does he think he is? The consequence is negativity, right? If I make a conscious decision that I'm going to pick this cell phone up, the consequence is that this phone now is in my hand. You have choices. I can also turn this phone on and I can make a phone call while I'm on this live video. The consequence is you guys will be going, what the hell is he doing? How come he's on his cell phone? These are simple examples. I'm trying to make it as simple and as understandable as possible. Cause and effect. Every decision you make is going to have a consequence, whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence. Every thought you make backed by an action is going to have an actual consequence. And so if you sit back and go, man, I'm doing good for myself, man. I can pay my light bill in my car, and I can get to work back and forth. And, I know I got 2 or 3 kids and 2 grandchildren out there, but, the hell with them. They got to do it on their own. And you can think like that if you want to. It's up to you. Nobody's going to judge you. What I'm saying is, when do we draw a line in the sand and say, let me make a conscious decision backed by action to build a legacy? Let me set up a legacy for future generations. Let's make the playing field even. Because for so long, it's been like this. When are we going to come and start at an even pace? I started underneath the gutter. I literally started not in the gutter, under. My neighbors in my ghetto had more money than me. And we were all poor. I had nothing. 2 pairs of pants, holes in my shoes, trying not to get beat up in school, bleaching my pants and dyeing them different colors so people thought I had different color pairs of pants so I wouldn't get attacked in school. I had one shirt with the alligator on it, the Le Koi Sportif. I would unstitch the alligator and restitch the other shirts that I got from Zayre's. It's an out of business department store. It was even cheaper than Kmart, and that's out of business now too. I remember the last pair of sneakers my mom bought me before I could start buying my own sneakers. She had to buy me a $5 pair of McGregor football cleats with the rubber cleats on the bottom. Can you imagine going to school? And I'm not talking about elementary. I'm talking about 9th grade. Can you imagine walking into your 9th grade class with football cleats on as your main shoes? Going to basketball practice with football cleats on? Can you imagine that? Come on now. We got to put an end to this. And I love my parents. They did the best they could with what they knew. They had no financial literacy. They had no understanding of the power that they had inside of them. They had no understanding or concept or idea of their actions and how it would play out in future realities. They had no idea how to collapse the reality that they wanted. They just went along with whatever the system gave them, and they did the best they could with the knowledge that they had. Those days are over. Those days are over. And I can say I'm talking to the majority because the majority of people out here may not be completely broken destitute, but I tell you what, there's a lot more people that don't have $1 million than that do. So I'm still talking to the majority. When are we going to start working on this legacy? When are we going to start realizing, let's make plans for the future, for all time? I'm not thinking about, right now I have 4 grandchildren, right? I got 4 grandchildren right now. I got a 6-year-old granddaughter, a 5-year-old grandson, another grandson that's 2, and another granddaughter right now that's about 7 months. My oldest daughter, who's now 31, going on 32 in September, is pregnant again and about to have a baby girl. All right, so now I'm going to have 5 grandchildren. And I can sit back and be like, I did my job. I raised my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good. I'm living good. Hey, it's on them now. They got to take care of this planet. Whatever that happens on the planet is up to them on the planet. Whatever happens with their kids and their finances, it's all up to them. You see the mindset that the majority of people have that mindset. My mindset is, how can I secure a future for my generations? How can I teach them to be a part of my plan that I've created and make it last for all time? How do I inject longevity into that plan? I'll give you a couple of tidbits that I'm going to teach in my Manifest Destiny workshop. Number 1, you got to have a will and a testament and a side of a trust. That's number 1. I'm going to teach you how to do that and how to set it up step by step. Number 2, you don't just leave money to people, especially people that don't have any financial means or financial literacy. You don't just leave your legacy behind for people to just chomp on and take their cut and run away with it, because it'll be gone and it won't be anything for all time. You see, I studied these people, these Anunnaki people. That plan that he made, he followed through with a whole 4 or 5 more tablets of information. All planned, everything planned, laid out step by step by step by step. So what did that tell me? I have to do the same thing. If I want this legacy to last, I have to make plans. So I have financial literacy classes that my family has to attend. If they don't attend them, they're cut out of the will. They don't get anything. If you don't know how to manage money, you're not allowed to touch any of it. You see? If your credit is below a specific credit score, you don't get your money yet. It'll be there waiting on you, but you got to get your credit up. I'm not about to have anybody take the money and blow it. If you don't have a job or your own company in business for at least 1 year before something happens to me and it's got to get paid out, you don't get it yet. It'll be waiting for you. Let another year go by. Come back with your proof that you was open for a year. Let me see your returns and everything else. Show it to the attorney. And then you'll get your cut. You can't be living on somebody's couch. You have to have your own apartment, your own condo, townhouse, or a house. You could be renting, but it got to be in your name. The lease got to be in your name. Your name, even if it was somebody else, your name better be added to that doggone paperwork. If your name ain't on no paperwork, come back when you get something. When you establish yourself and you're living, you can take care of yourself, come back. It'll be waiting on you. That's just a small part of the list. Every quarter, you better show up to these financial literacy classes. You get nothing. Grandkids, you're in there, you're in the policy. But guess what? You get some of it when you turn 18, not all of it. Then you got to go by the same guidelines that everyone else is. The classes and the courses will be left behind for you to follow through. The tests will be left behind for you to follow through. The requirements will be left behind for you to follow through. When you turn 21, if you meet them, the requirements, you get a little bit more. You can't give a lot of money to an 18 and 21-year-old. You already know what's going to happen to it. You turn 25, you meet the requirements, you get the rest. There's stages to this. I'm going to teach you how to set your future generations up the right way and how to manifest a true reality that's going to last for all time. Not you pass away or something happens to you, God forbid, and everything just collapses, turn to dust in 5 minutes. And everybody, for the future generation, everybody's struggling, broke, poor. They see your picture on the mantle and they just say, oh, that's so-and-so. When they see my picture, they're going to say, oh, that's so-and-so, great grandpa. And guess what? He the reason why we're living like this. He set this whole thing up. He made a plan for all time. He made a plan for all time. That's what they're going to say about me. They're not going to say, oh, that's just so-and-so grandpa, so-and-so dad of so-and-so. They're going to look all, when they get to my picture, they're going to stop. They're going to wait a minute. Let me tell you about this guy right here, what he did. He's the reason why we're living like this right now. Because he built a legacy. But he didn't just build a legacy. He built a plan for all time. This is what it's all about, guys. It's all about understanding the true power that we have and control over our life by making conscious decisions backed by action and thought and knowing what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. The average person just doesn't know. I'm going to drop the link in the comment box again. You have to come to my Manifest Destiny workshop if you want to find a way to change your life and get to the next level. If you're already a millionaire, I'll take you to the level above that. I'm on my way to becoming a billionaire right now. You don't believe it? Look me up. It's all public record because all my financials are registered with the SEC. I'm not playing games out here on these streets. I'm working on this nonstop. All I work on is legacy. If you focus on building your legacy, your abundance is guaranteed. You don't have to worry about where's my money going to come from for a light bill and a mortgage payment and a car payment and a tuition bill and all this. That's the last thing on my mind. Why? Because I'm focused on this. My daily abundance is automatically guaranteed. I'm going to teach you my techniques and my methods, how I plan, how I strategize, how I create my reality, how I manifest my reality the way that I want it. And it's not just in finance. I used to struggle in relationships. I've now manifested what I want there too. I said, you know what? Man, I've mastered the financial matrix. I've mastered the education matrix. I've mastered all these other business matrices. I'm like, man, why ain't I putting this same stuff to work in my own relationship? And so then I began to work and focus on creating and masterminding the relationship that I truly and really did want. And I made a plan for that for all time. And I'm doing that too. It's all about understanding what questions to ask yourself and then how to seek the answers to those questions. I'm going to help you find those. I'm going to give you a very, very detailed PDF file that you're going to have to fill out when you come to my Manifest Destiny workshop. And this file is going to force you to ask yourself some really, really tough questions. It's going to force you to ask yourself some really, really tough questions. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. But I guarantee you this, when you get to the end of that 8 to 10 hour class, it's most likely going to be 10 because we had to add an extra speaker. You're going to feel rejuvenated. You're going to feel enlightened. You're going to be going back and watching it over and over again. You're going to pause it and rewind it and get information and extract information and download it from that video that's just going to allow you to change not only your life, but future generations. because this Manifest Destiny class, for me, is going to set the standard for all time, period. Let me read from the Emerald Tablets a little bit to you guys. This is my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. It's been a bestseller in 5 countries for 4 years. Now, let me tell you something about this book first. Some of you on here probably have the original version of this book, which was volume 1, which came with a light brown cover and Thoth was still on the front. But the book was about 444 pages. That's right, 444. This book is now 238 pages with the same amount of information in it. When I was done with the first version of the book, I went to this huge lecture out in ECETI in Washington State. And it was a 7-day retreat where I was speaking out there. I was speaking on the hermetic principles out there with Jimmy Church from Jimmy Church Radio. We did a whole thing together out there. Every day we would have a line of people coming up to buy my books, and I would autograph them on the spot. And every time I would sign my book, this is the first week the book came out, I would sign the book and say, this is going to be a bestseller, and hand them the book. This is going to be a bestseller, and hand them the book. I must have said it over 150 times, handing out over 150 books. I think I had 300 books for that whole trip. They all sold out. Right around the 150th book or so, a woman walks up to me. And she says, my name is Laura Cantu. And I want to know if your ego's not too strong, I have a couple of suggestions about your book. I said, Miss Laura, my ego's not strong. If you have any suggestions that can help me make this book better or something you saw that I need to correct, I'm game to listen. She said, okay, meet me over there. There was a building over there tomorrow at next time. It was like right after lunch. I met with her. She says, I own a publishing company, a book publishing company called Winter Wolf Publishing. And I read the whole book, and I want to tell you that there's some things in here that I see that need to be changed. Your science articles your science portions are too complex for the average person. You're going to lose some people. The book is so big, it's intimidating. The cover doesn't look that good. You're not catching any eyes with it. She says, but I think this book should be a bestseller. And if you allow me to, I'd like to work with you to alter this book into a way that could make it a bestseller. I said, if you feel that this book can be a bestseller, I said, I already know it's going to be a bestseller because I've been telling everybody. She laughed and said, yeah, I know. You've been telling everybody it's going to be a bestseller. I said, let's go to work then. We went to work, rewriting the science portions to make it more understandable. She came up with a brand new cover, okay, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, and she wrote underneath a beginner's guide, which is my subtitle, a beginner's guide to simplify for the average person. We took some of the larger images and shrunk them down. Long story short, we got the book down, half the size, same amount of information, more potent, more understandable. The book became a bestseller instantaneously. But you see, it all started with me saying, this book is going to be a bestseller. This book is going to be a bestseller. They're putting the thought out there into the universe. Then the next thing was I came across the person that had the capability to make it a bestseller. The universe put her right in my hands. Now, here's the problem with most people. They focus on creating a reality and manifesting something for themselves, and they get up to a great start. I was off to a great start. But then when the person shows up that the universe sends you, or the opportunity shows up that the universe sends you, you don't have the discernment to realize it's your opportunity. This is the door that has just opened. This is the window that has just opened. Sometimes windows open and doors open, but also guess what? Windows close and so do doors. And people wait and procrastinate, or the ego kicks in. I could have told, lady, look, you know what kind of following I got? I don't need your advice. My book is going to be a bestseller with or without you. I don't need to hear nothing what you got to say. I don't need to see. I love my cover. I don't want to get a new cover on this book. I'm not going to rewrite. I want people to know how smart I am. I'm not going to rewrite my science articles. And guess what? The book would have never been a bestseller. It'd have made some money. It would have made me some money, but it would have never been a bet. This book has made me $2.3 million. One book. $2.3 million on one book. But it didn't explode until she walked into my life and I dropped my ego and I listened to the universe say, hey, you want it to be a bestseller? Well, here you go. Here you go. Now, what you going to do? I had a decision at that moment. cause and effect, hermetic principle of cause and effect. I could have told that lady to get the hell out of my face and dismissed her, or I could have said, let's go to work, and then go to work. My conscious decision gave me a particular outcome. What was that? My consequence was a bestseller in 5 countries for 4 years, $2.3 million. That's my consequence. You see? This is how it happens. This is why you guys got to come to my class. Let's read this here. I'm on page 84 in the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, Volume 2. Now, Thoth is talking about manifesting here. And Thoth said, meditate on the symbols I give thee. Keys are they, though hidden from men. We're talking about consciousness. We're talking about conscious concepts, multidimensional thoughts, things that you want to bring into your reality. Reach ever upward, O soul of the morning. Turn thy thoughts upward to light and to life. Find in the keys of the numbers I bring thee, light on the pathway from life unto life. Seek ye with wisdom. Turn thy thoughts inward. You want to find out what you want? You started thinking about the concepts on the symbols and the things you're looking to create. Now you got to go to inner space, not outer space. I'm not calling on deities. I'm not saying, hey, so-and-so, please bring me this thing. No, he said, go to inner space. Turn thy thoughts inward. Close not thy mind to the flower of light. See, the flower of light, he's talking about the flower of life, which all light and all matter emanates and creates, and energy emanates and creates its entire universe. It comes out of the flower of life. It exists at every Planck unit in space-time throughout the entire universe. Place in thy body a thought, formed picture. Place inside of your body a thought, form a picture. Some people need a new car. Some people need a new house. Not because they want to be in a mansion, but because they're living in an apartment that's too small. They got 5 kids. Envision that property. Envision that house. Envision that townhouse or whatever it is. You see it, but you don't just see it. Listen to what he says. Place in thy body a thought-formed picture. Think of the numbers that lead thee to life. We're talking about the power of understanding numbers now. Clear as a pathway to he who has wisdom. Open the door to the kingdom of light. We're talking about your pineal gland now, third eye. Pour forth thy flame as a sun of the morning. We're talking about meditation and focusing on so adamantly on what you're trying to accomplish. The flame is coming out of the mind, out of the pineal. Shut out the darkness and live in the day. What that means is live in the moment. When you're in these types of meditation, when you've got the flame going and you're focused on the image of what you're trying to manifest into reality, now you have to actually believe it already exists. In other words, don't say, I need to manifest a car. And then you're thinking about, I'm going to get a car one day soon. I'm going to bring this car to, no, in this meditation, when you have the flame burning, you envision yourself inside the car already driving it. You know the color, the make, the model, the seat type, the audio version, what's in there. Is it CD? Is it MP3? Is it aux? Whatever it is. You know the steering. You could tell how the steering wheel feels even in the meditation because the flame is burning so bright. Take thee, O man, as part of thy being, the 7 who are not as they seem. Open, O man, have I my wisdom. Follow the path in the way that I have led. He's talking about the power of conscious thought backed by understanding how to access the pineal through a meditation and then operating and living within the moment of exactly what you're trying to create, the picture that you created in your mind, and living it. And that thing, whatever it is, will be yours. You see? The ancients knew all about this. I talk about it in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, extensively. I break down these verses, and I give you the verses, and I break down the verses for you so you can understand what they're saying. But we're going to get deep into this Manifest Destiny workshop coming up January 29th. I just dropped the link in the chat again. You don't want to miss this class. It's going to be so empowering. It's going to take you from a position of begging, hoping, and wishing to a position of commanding your realities into existence. It's going to take you to a position of understanding who you truly are, walking in your true power, and understanding how to make the right types of plans, not only for yourself, but for your legacy. How do you structure things the right way? These are things you may not know because you don't even know what questions to even ask. You don't even have the concept of the ideas of how to put it in the way that I'm putting it. When I got that information from those tablets and I read that and I noticed that these guys were talking about ordaining destinies. They would ordain future outcomes of kings on the planet. Years before the king would even be born, they would ordain a king. How in the world did they know this? Because they had these crystal tablets. They would see realities. They call them the tablets of destinies. It were the name of these tablets. And whoever had control of these tablets would have power and control over the entire galaxy. They were stolen a couple of times, so the power had shifted a couple of times, according to the Sumerian tablets, not according to me. However, the owner would see these destinies, these superpositions in quantum mechanics, and then pick the one that they want to collapse into reality, and then focus so intently the flame in the mind on that, and then put the conscious actions behind it to make it come into fruition. These are the things that we're going to be teaching you in the Manifest Destiny workshop. I can't wait to announce who the third speaker is going to be. It's a very, very huge name, and not huge because he's just famous. It's huge because the power in what this man understands and teaches, and how he teaches it, he makes it understandable and very uplifting. And again, this is a world famous person. So I'm looking forward to it. Just got to wait. I can't announce that yet until I have the signed contract in hand. But I'm bringing something special to you guys for this Manifest Destiny workshop. It's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be something you'll never forget, and you'll be able to watch it over and over and over again, and you'll be able to share it with your family members. We as people on this planet, and I mean all races, have to begin to realize that we're already living in heaven. I'm going to say that again. We as people on this planet have to begin to realize, no matter all races, we are already living in heaven. You see, I learned a long time ago that the mission is not to die so that you can live. The real mission is to learn how to live now. Make the most of what you have now, right here. Due to the second law of thermodynamics, you will never die. You are already eternal. You already are eternal. You live forever in one form or another, because energy can't be destroyed. It can only be transformed. We know this for a fact in science. So what this means is you are supposed to live your best life in every outcome, in every return, in every incarnation. Thoth talks about it in the Emerald Tablets. He said he's learned to incarnate in and on the plane that he desires. He moves from dimension to dimension, according to his own writings. He comes back when he desires to come back, in and on in the plane he desires. Then he says he walks amongst men, but unlike a man. The mission is to create heaven on earth. That's what this whole experiment is all about. How long will it take them to realize they're already in heaven? They just looking at, hey, how long? Okay. 10 more millennia have gone by. They're still fighting over religion. They're still fighting over politics. They're still battling each other. 8 billion people controlled by only 100. Only 100 people controlling 8 billion people. We'll give them a little bit longer. How long will it take for us to realize the divide and conquer tactics that they've been using on us to keep us separated and divided, the poisons they've been putting in us to keep us dying young? 80 years old death is a young death compared to what we used to live in the ancient times. We used to live for hundreds of years, sometimes thousands. How long will it take us to realize that our mission is to make the most and the best of the life we have here right now. And to not kick our feet up and watch the world burn. That's what it's all about. And then when you pass and transcend this avatar body and come back in another dimension, in another realm, or back in the same dimension as a different person or a different animal, maybe even a rock or a blade of grass, that you make the most out of that opportunity as well. If I come back as a rock, I guarantee you, I'm going to be the best damn rock you ever seen. I want to have the best location, the best view. If I come back as a blade of grass, I'm going to be the best damn blade of grass. Every time I get cut, I'm going to grow back even stronger and better until my life is extinguished. When I come back the next time, is whatever it is, I'm always going to be the best in wherever I come. And wherever I go, I'm going to try to make a change and be the best and live the best I possibly can. And make sure I make the most of that energy force that is existing in that temporal time. And if I end up transcending time, I'm going to be the best energetic being I can ever be, wherever that is. You see, I'm not planning for tomorrow. I'm not planning for next week. I'm not planning for 5 years from now. I'm planning for all time. And that means eternity. I'm planning for multiple dimensions. I'm already out of these dimensions and planning. I'm planning for multiple dimensions. You guys have no idea what kind of plans I have. I'm planning for so much stuff. Why? The ancients were doing it. And guess what? They were pretty damn effective because we're still living under their exact same system today from 8,000 years ago. Nothing's changed. Not one iota. Same system. Same institutions that have been established through time immemorial. We're still here operating right now. It's time for me to do what I have to do. And what I have to do is plan for all time. And when I started working on planning for all time, which I started about 2.5 years ago, my life it was already going, I guess it just went like this, straight up, straight up, straight up. Because I had a shift in the way I'm thinking now. It's no longer 2 and 3 year and 5 year projections. It's infinity plans. Something that the average person will never even conceive of doing. If you can lock that in and you can work that, you can download what I'm teaching you in this workshop, and you can begin to implement that in your life, I don't think you can imagine the immensity, the enormity of what's going to actually happen in your family life, for generations. It's a paradigm shift. It's a paradigm shift. When you become a person that plans for all time, and it doesn't mean you don't stop and smell the roses, because I smell all the roses along the way. You're making the most of everything. You're living in the moment of now, but you're also focused on deep, deep, deep into the future through conscious thought. It doesn't mean that you're obsessed with it either. I'm going to teach you how to time travel with your mind. It's a form of remote viewing. You're literally in my class going to have an opportunity through my guided talk, do a specific type of remote view. And you're going to look into different realities that exist in real time. And you're going to pull in a specific reality. I'm going to talk you through this and teach you this. Where did I get my experience in doing that from? Well, I took several classes directly with Major Ed Dames, Project Stargate. Look it up. Project Stargate. He was one of the leaders, the teachers of the remote viewing program for the U.S. military and the Pentagon. About maybe 7 years ago, he started doing private classes. He hasn't done one in about 3.5 years now. But I have the pictures with him, which have been on Instagram and Facebook. I took his private classes. Why did I do that? Because I want to know how to be more in control of what's happening in my life and see the potential future outcomes that are out there so I can make conscious decisions now. When you operate within this type of mindset, what you do is you time travel. When people say, well, what do you do for a living? Well, I create conscious thoughts that travel into the future and alter future realities in the third dimension. That's what I do. Just by you watching this live video, I'm changing your future trajectory right now. I've altered your future. I've altered your future right now by you listening to my voice. My cymatic frequencies going into this microphone, then being converted into zeros and ones, going down the cable into a switchboard, which then gets sent to a digital cable to a cell phone tower, which then transmits to a satellite in zeros and ones. It comes down in the region wherever you live on this planet, comes up the pipeline, completely decodes from zeros and ones into an audio file. And then what happens? The atmosphere around you picks up the cymatic frequencies that came out of my voice, and it floats into your ear. It rides a wave of atmosphere gases into your ear. Your cochlea inside of your ear decodes the information that I spoke through this microphone, and now your brain has been altered forever. That's how it works. That's how it works. Now imagine having the full boat, understanding all of it, and then being able to, at will, enforce and utilize the power of your own conscious thought and the power inside of you to invoke the future that you want, not only for yourself, but for your future generations as well. That's what I'm going to be teaching in the Manifest Destiny workshop. I'll be talking about things you never heard me talk about before, and I'll be going in deep. It's going to be a powerful, powerful day. I'd love for you guys to be a part of it. I dropped the link in the chat again. I'm running a little bit over because I have to get off this thing here very soon. I got to go make another video. But I'm glad you guys hopped on tonight. Thank you for spending some time. Thank you for all the donations and anyone who put a donation up. If I missed you from tagging you onto the screen, I apologize. I was kind of getting in the zone there. But guys, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot of amazing teaching going on the 29th of January. I'm going to help you not only kickstart January, not only kickstart the 2023, but kickstart all time. This is going to be a big one. This is going to be one of the biggest and the best Manifest Destiny workshops I've ever done. It's my 4th year in a row, and I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be magnificent, and I want to see everyone there. I'll drop the link in the comments box one more time. I see somebody keeps commenting about Michael Salla. Let me take a look at this right quick. Please do an interview with Michael Salla about the Anunnaki. Okay, I'll see if I can contact Mike and talk to him. All right, I'll definitely. Thanks for all the great comments in the chat. What's up, Pachamama Art? Appreciate you. Everyone else, I appreciate all you guys' support, all the love you guys have given me over the years. This account has grown so much. This my YouTube, my podcast platform. This is part of my podcast platform. Has grown so much. It's growing very rapidly. We're about to hit 300,000 subscribers probably within the next couple of weeks. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. I love all of you. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll catch you guys later. I got to go and work on another project right now. I'll get on another video. But I'll be back on here again. But the link to this important workshop is in the comments multiple times. And I'm going to make sure it's in the caption of this video or this podcast, wherever you're listening. This is something you don't want to miss. You just don't want to miss it, all right? Hey, thanks again, guys. I love y'all. I appreciate